if you're just coming into the UK, or even if you've been in the UK and you are thinking of taking any kind of contract at all, you should be watching this video to the very end, because I'm going to be sharing something very important with you, all right, so that you don't get roped into a nasty situation that you can't get out of. All right, so there are basic questions you should be asking before entering into a contract, like what is the duration of this contract, when is the activation date going to start from, what is the return policy on this particular contract, and when does it start. All right, so I just had a very nasty situation regarding the contract. I'm going to be sharing that with you in this video. If this sounds like something you're interested in, do well to watch this video to the very end, because you're going to be learning a lot from it, especially if you're in the UK or just coming in. Let's get started. So if you've been on this channel, you would have seen that video I posted about my new apartment. So I just moved into a new apartment, and yeah, it wasn't bills inclusive, so I had to still pay for my internet, for my electricity, and also get furnitures and things like that for the house. Because my husband worked from home and internet is very important to us, like I need it for my YouTube and stuff like that, I had to start looking for the best network that works here. So even though I work for a phone network company right now as a customer sales advisor, this current location, my company doesn't provide internet here, so I had to start looking for the best option that works, and I made lots of calls. Because I work for a phone company, I knew the exact questions to ask, I knew exactly what to ask and what to be expecting. So when I called the agent, I called and asked, okay, what are the packages available for me, for my property, how much is it, how long is the contract, and things like that. And we agreed on everything. And then I asked, when is the installation date, when is the activation date going to be, and he confirmed that it was going to be from when the service is installed in my property by an engineer, which was going to be like 12 days from when I was making the call to take the deal. All right, so I felt like, okay, we can wait, and since there is nothing to lose since the contract has not started. Yeah, so true to his words, on the 12th of the month, like we agreed, the engineer came and fixed the service, the internet service in my property, and it started working. But when I got from work the following day, the very next day, I was so shocked that my husband said the internet has stopped working. I was like, okay, what's happening here? We started making calls. Yeah, he did some troubleshooting. Following day, should I say, instructions on their website, nothing worked. So we made some calls, and still we weren't thinking that it was something serious, but I was still surprised when in 24 hours it wasn't resolved. So I went into their office the very next day, and they booked an engineer appointment for me, and the earliest date they could get for an engineer appointment was in about 1 week time from when I went to visit. I pleaded with them to even bring it forward, and they said that's the closest date. I was like, okay, since it's still within my cooling off period of 14 days from the activation date. So I felt like something I could deal with, and I accepted. To my amazement, a day to when the engineer was supposed to come, they sent me messages and canceled the appointment, that it wasn't necessary for the engineer to come into the house for whatever they wanted to do that could be done externally. I got worried, and I started thinking about it, like, but I don't understand. This is like 3 weeks already from when I made the call to get this internet. If it's not going to work and the contract had not even started, and I'm going through all of this trouble, then I think I want to cancel. So I just went into their office the next day and said, look, this is everything that's happening, but right now I'm no longer interested, I want to cancel. And then I got the shocker of my life. They told me that they don't think I can cancel right now, and if I want to cancel, I have to pay an early termination fee because I'm out of my cooling off period. It was like film trick. I was like, okay, what's happening here? I had to tell the agent, no, that's not correct. I confirmed from the agent that I took the deal from, and he confirmed to me that the cooling off period, which is the 14 days right to cancel, is going to start from when the service is activated in my property, and that was like 8 days ago. And they said no, it started from when I made the call, which was like the 1st of the month. And I was like, no, that's not correct. And I felt like, no, this is not happening. There should be a way of verifying this. In the UK, calls are recorded. And she said, okay, if I want to say anything about the cancellation, the best department to speak with is cancellation department. And at this point, they've closed, so I need to call back the next day. And I'm like, no. So I left there and I said, I had to go on the gov.uk website and start looking for any leg of how to resolve this. Like, we're in the UK and this is the 21st century, like there are rights for everything here. And I like typed consumer rights or something, and it brought out an agency, Citizens Advice, and then I called them. I gave them a call and explained everything to them, and then they said, do I have the contract summary? I said, yeah. They sent me contract summary, and they asked, is the cooling off period stated there? I said no, but it was agreed on the call. Then they asked me, do I have a copy of our conversation, like a transcript of our conversation? I said no, I don't, because I didn't know that this was going to be a problem. So they said I should call them and request for a copy of my conversation with them, so that I can have a written evidence, and then I can have what to make a case with. So I went back, I called them and asked for a copy of my conversation with them. They referred me back to their website to request for a service access request, something like that, which I did. And then I went back, I was like, no, I can't believe this. So me and my husband, we started praying about it. And then the next morning, we decided to call back again to speak specifically with the cancellation department. So God so kind, the person that picked our call that morning was very receptive and very empathetic, all right? So we explained everything to her, and she was like, no, that's strange, that's unusual. And do you know, to crown it all up, they had already sent me a bill of about £66 for a service that I've not started using. You can imagine. All right, so it was very frustrating, and it was going to come out of my direct debit in about 2 days time from when we were having this conversation. So you can imagine the situation I was in. So the lady was very empathetic. So I told her that we are no longer interested in this contract. What we want right now is to get out of this contract without paying the early termination fee, which was going to be about almost £700, or if not more at this point, because it's going to be the £30 you're supposed to pay for the contract multiplied by the duration of the contract, which is 24 months. So do the math yourself. You can imagine, right? I told them that we're no longer interested, and this was why we took the contract. These were the terms that were agreed, and by that, we're still within our cooling off period and we want to cancel. If not, they should send me an email copy of all my conversation, and I'm going to take this up legally. So God so kind, the person that I spoke with understood everything, and then she said she was so sorry, she apologized, because I said the contract then is not valid because it was given to me on false information, all right, because that's not what we agreed. So she said, okay, she was going to do something. She will cancel the contract right now. She will backdate it so that she will be able to cancel it without me getting charged and stuff like that. So I said, whatever you do, so long as it's cancelled. So that's what she did, and that's how God saved me from that nightmare of a contract. I believe that experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. So if you are in the UK or just coming to the UK and you are thinking of taking a contract, be it a job contract, be it a housing contract, a phone contract, or whatever kind of contract, for whatsoever reason, either to build your credit score, for whatsoever reason, you should be asking basic questions like, what is going to be the duration of this contract? Is it 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months, or even 36 months? Those are basic questions you should be asking, all right? And the next question you should be asking is, when does this contract start from? Is it going to start from today that I'm making this call? Or is it going to start from when the service is activated, or when I start receiving the service for phone contracts, for example, like in my company for phone contracts, your service starts from when you receive your device. And then the next question you should be asking is, what is the return policy for this product I'm buying? Can I return it? Okay, if I can return it, how long does it take for me to return it? Is it 12 days? Is it 10 days? Is it 14 days or 30 days? All right, what is the cooling off period? It is called cooling off period. What is the cooling off period for this product I'm buying? All right, and if so, when does the cooling off period start from? Does it start from right now, or does it start from when the service is activated in my property for internet, for example? Or does it start from when I receive the device for a phone, for example? Or even if I'm moving into a new house, does it start from right now that I'm signing this contract, or does it start from when I move into the apartment? And this question is so important and vital, because if you don't ask this question to get an understanding, your cooling off period might even be over before it starts, before you think it starts. Like in my case, they were saying the cooling off period had even ended, even when I didn't know it had started. Do you understand? So those are basic questions you should be asking and getting confirmation and ensuring that the answers are aligning with what you can deal with. Because if you're not cool with it, that's the point for you to say, no, I'm not taking this contract, and look elsewhere for other providers that have more flexible terms that you can deal with. Or if you can do without the product, then why enter into a contract? There are other ways of building your credit score aside entering into those kind of tight contracts. The next question you should be asking is, what is the early termination fee? Is there an early termination fee for getting out of this contract early? Am I going to be required to pay anything? If so, how much is it going to be? The next question you should be asking is, can I get a confirmation or a written confirmation of everything we've agreed on today on this call? All right. So you will get a documentation sent to you, so you should be asking for it. All right, can I get a written confirmation? So if they're not sending you a mail, for example, can you send this in a text message if they are unable to send a mail, to ensure that there is a confirmation of what you've agreed on today? Okay. And then it's not just enough for you to receive that confirmation. The next thing you should do is to be reading it word for word to ensure that all the information you agreed on is written on there. Or if there is any other thing that you don't understand, you should be making the call within your cooling off period, when you can still return the product without paying a fee or without being tied into a contract. Because like I have been saying on this channel, if you've been here, contracts here are legal and they are binding. The moment you've accepted that contract, the moment you put your signature on that contract, everything that is written on there is legal and is binding. Whether you read it or not, whether you accepted it or not, whether you understood it or not, is none of anybody's business. So it's at the point of taking the contract that you should be asking those vital questions, and those are the kind of questions to be asking. So if you've watched this video to this point and you found this video very informative and helpful, and you've not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please do well to subscribe to this channel right now. Click on that subscription button below to subscribe to this channel. And if you've had similar experiences in the UK or have heard of people that have been in this kind of experiences, do well to share them in the comment section so that others can read all of this information and learn from the experiences, so that they don't fall victim or prey to this kind of experiences, negative experiences, because it can be frustrating. Trust me, it can be frustrating. You don't want to be in this kind of situation. You don't want to be, so that we can be saving lots of people, as many people as we can, from this kind of ugly scenarios and situations. All right, and do well to share this video so that many people that are just arriving in the UK or are here and thinking of taking one form of contract or the other. All right, so that YouTube can recommend it to as many people also that are looking for this kind of information. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for subscribing. You are the real deal. So until I come your way again, I remain Comfort Gideon. Bye bye.